Well, let's talk postcards. So, I've been in Virginia for the last month, helping out family and going on fun adventures. I went to see Chris Matthews over at Naked Vineyard Winery, which I'm a big fan of hers and her music. And then I went to Manassas and Washington D.C. and Fort Washington, and so with all those adventures, I get postcards and I actually send them out. So in Washington, D.C., I went to the American Indian Museum, which is a Smithsonian, and they had a festival for the jaguar, and I don't remember everything about it right now, but I saw dancing and stuff like that. And they had kitty activities, and I made myself a little bag, and it's the perfect size for my postcards. I also have little bags from buying the postcards. And what happened was, in one bag I have postcards that are already written. There's no reason to show you those because they have addresses on them. And then I have another bag that has a lot of postcards that I haven't quite written them all yet, but it's from different things. Like this one is from Picassus. It's a national park that's run, it's a national colonial farm, so you learned how they did the colonial way of life, farming wise. And then I went to Fort Washington. This is the lighthouse. And I put a stamp from the national parks when I go there to say when I went, because sometimes it takes me a week or two to get them out. I went to another this is Washington D.C. and this one's for the Washington Monument. But I went to all the different monuments while I was in Washington D.C. and I was just at the different monuments, but I only stamped the one for the one day, because the other stamps go in my passport book through the National Park Service. And then I went to the Horosian Museum one week, and these are some of the postcards that I got. And then I also went to the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in the last month. And then, of course, Lincoln Memorial. I thought this one was really cool. You get to make, if you cut it out, you can make your own little Lincoln Memorial. It's 1/1500th the size. And I've had to write the date because when I tried to get my passport stamp on it, there was such a long line, and to get to it, it was not, it didn't happen. Same for this Lincoln Memorial postcard. And then Washington, D.C., this is the National Mall on a different day because I went there a couple different times. Oh, Jefferson Memorial with a pretty sunset. I went on the 29th of September. Pretty Jefferson Memorial one again. Jefferson Memorial. Oh, the Star Spangled Banner. That's a good one. This is when I went to the National Museum of American History. Good to know. Got a teddy bear from there too. And then the National Museum of Natural History and saw the Hope Diamond. In the last month, I did some fun adventures and got a lot of postcards. I didn't show you the Manassas ones because they had addresses on them, but it was a fun adventure time. I actually send them out. Let me see. It has a stamp on it, the address I'm covering up. This one is from San Francisco, and it has the date of when I went. But sometimes it takes me a while to remember to send them out. It happens. But I'll send these ones out pretty soon. Most of them today. I like sending postcards because it's fun to get fun stuff in the mail. This one for Washington, D.C., I sent it I haven't sent it out, but I've already written it. It says, I've been having fun here on the East Coast. I've been getting out of the house but it's been rainy because of the Hurricane Florence, and my aunt is getting better. And like, I've really took the time to write these things. Like another one says, there are a lot of people out here today. I learned a lot about jaguars are part of the culture in South America. I saw the thing on the front of the postcard in NYC at the Smithsonian there. The one in Washington, D.C. is much bigger and goes into greater detail. Okay, so to go off of that, here's what I was talking about. I saw this in New York City when I was living there, and it is a way to keep track of money and who paid taxes and how much money there is during the Incan Empire for like the different parts. I don't remember the whole story, and it's like I basically got a one-person tour in New York City of the different parts of the Smithsonian there, and the tour guide went into great detail about what the different knots mean and stuff. So I thought that was cool, and I sent that to myself. So it's like a letter home, but it's also like my journal entry, and I get a picture of what I'm talking about. Probably one of the reasons why I like postcards. Another reason why is probably because they're cheap and I could send them out to lots of people, and I get postcard stamps are cheaper than regular stamps, and I could get a bunch of postcards for just a few dollars and it's a memory I could just send myself. And half the time I send it to my parents' house and they save them for me, and when I send it to my parents' house they get lost in the house. So it is a scavenger hunt, or just a hunt in general, to find them, because it ends up way crazy places, but it's just fun, and it's a lot of good memories, and it's fun to get fun mail. So I send it to friends, family, and other people that I know. I send them to past jobs when I'm on good terms with people. Yeah, it's just what I do. Do you send postcards? Do you send letters? I send actual letters. Right now, I'm in Virginia, not in California, but I also need to go back to California to find my stationery, but I do send letters. Well, it's been fun talking to myself and a camera. It's really strange, but have a good day.